And very recently, we've heard another coup d'etat against him. Listen to this.
It should be noted that the masterminds outside the country are all located in Cotdevoir, including the aforementioned Bahare Abdrahman. The intelligence services followed the maneuver, which, according to the plan of the terrorist conspirators, was to culminate on Wednesday, April 16th, 2025, in an assault on the presidency of Faso by a group of soldiers recruited by the enemies of the nation. The plot is actively continuing from their operations center in Abidjan with the objective of sowing chaos in Burkina Faso before the month of June.
As you heard in the report, the people who are planning to remove him are doing it from Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire is like France in Africa. Today in Africa, every operations that France wants to do, it would most likely come from Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. So, there are three things that Ibrahim Traore is doing that makes him a markman. The first thing is that he started paying off the debt of that country. Burkina Faso today is very fast and quickly paying off its debt. You have to understand one thing. That right there is an alarm. Those debts are not meant to be paid off. The second thing that he's doing that makes him a markman today is he has stopped taking loans from the IMF. International Monetary Fund. Like I said about the debt, the loans that you take from the IMF are not meant to be paid off. You must continue to take them. That is what they want those countries to do. And the presidents or leaders who are aligning themselves with Western powers are obligated to take those loans so that the country can eternally remain in debt and give out and sell out all its natural resources to the IMF or big corporations that fund the IMF. The third thing that Ibrahim Traore is doing is made in Burkina Faso. Even things like crude gold, right? Natural gold. He is putting together refinery for gold in Burkina Faso. Now, I don't want to add the fact that he is transforming the country with a whole lot of infrastructure, building dams for electricities and, roads, you name it. And all of this is with countries like China, Russia, right? Countries that also wants to promote their work without imposing a certain government in those countries. Now, Thomas Sankara was killed by a very close ally. In fact, they say that it's Blaise Compaoré, who was the president for more than 20-some years after the death of Sankara. They say he's the one who killed him. He was his best friend. One thing that we need to understand about Africa is that this is the only continent that has more coups d'etat than any other continent. Why is that? Because it is very easy in Africa to hate. Unfortunately, we can sit down and talk about all the good things that Thomas Sankara or Ibrahim Traore are doing. We can talk about that. We can name them. But one of the things that we must understand is that we don't like to see our brothers and sisters who have more talent than us lead somewhere. That is why it is very easy for the enemies to come and just get one closest person to foment a coup d'etat or to kill someone like Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, or any other leaders out there. It's not that difficult. In other countries like Arab countries, they have to bring an entire army to fight them, bring wars, because in Arab countries, they fight, they sacrifice. In Africa, they don't have to spend that much money. All you need to do is give $20 to the next brother, and he takes your life. Sometimes you don't even have to give him money. Just give him a title. Call his name somewhere. Make him popular without even giving him money. You know what? He's just going to open the doors and take lives. And that is the sad story that we have. What is happening in Burkina Faso is amazing because it's not just Burkina Faso, but the entire Sahel. However, it is dangerous for Burkina Faso and the entire Sahel because money, investment is being taken away from the West. They're not going to go without a fight. So for Ibrahim Traore to be able to win this battle for the people of Burkina Faso is that they have to become selfless and think about the country. You don't hear too many coups d'etats in Western countries. Why? Because they fight for their countries. They don't mind elevating others. And that's the problem we have in Africa, is that we cannot elevate others. Ibrahim Traore is in power because he's a military who got up with the closest people, used weapons, and took power. Not because people supported him. People are supporting him today because of what he's doing. We need to be honest with each other on that. But can people really sacrifice and say, look, we are willing to see him in power just for the good of the country? Or sacrifice others for our selfish interest? We need to ask ourselves the question, what is he going to be?